All right. Welcome to the inaugural podcast. It's I, the Marshmallow. I'm here with Hitler and the Gremlin.
Sounds about right.
Say hi, Hitler.
Heil Hitler.
Well done. Gremlin coming in from the sidelines. How you doing, Gremlin, tonight?
We're doing good tonight, thank you.
Gremlin always coming in to ruin our time here. So tonight, it is Mock Draft Monday up here for the upcoming 2013 fantasy football season. We got a lot of mock drafts in under our belts. We're trying to start breaking them down. We're going to go position by position. If you have any problems with that, go fuck yourself and tell your mama said so. Starting off, quarterback, Hitler. Do you have Aaron Rodgers as a first-round draft pick?
Yeah, I think you look at his value late in the first round, I think it's there. You talk about how many yards and touchdowns he's going to put up over the season, and you talk about those top-tier running backs and how he compares in a points league. You're right there at the end of the first round.
Gremlin, what do you think?
I think Aaron Rodgers has some value there, depending on what rounds you can get him in. But for me,
So I just said first round. Do you like him in the first round? Next time, listen to the question.
Key phrase here: what round you can get him at, as in he falls below the first round. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is worth the trap anywhere below a mid-second round pick. I'm not taking that chance in the first round.
Okay, so he didn't answer the question.
Gremlin,
he answered his own question.
Gremlin, I swear to God, first question of the inaugural podcast, you can't even answer. You go off on some wild tangent about some other round, and it just... I'm sorry, Hitler. My anger sometimes gets the best of me on these situations, but I really want to punch him in the face.
No, and that's why I sit in the middle, and that's why I'm the mediator. But let's move on to another quarterback that has my attention. It's Drew Brees.
Drew Brees, ooh.
Yeah. So for me, in a lot of these mock drafts on Mock Draft Monday.
Mock Draft Monday.
So Mock Draft Monday, Drew Brees falling at times to the late second round. And you compare him against a late first round pick of Aaron Rodgers. You're talking a late second round pick for Drew Brees. I like Drew Brees over Aaron Rodgers, but do I like Drew Brees over someone else? Maybe not. What do you think, Marshmallow?
I have a huge difficulty passing on Drew Brees late second round. Say you're picking around 18, 19. I'm having a hard time passing on Drew Brees. I'm seeing him fall in a lot of mock drafts to early third, late second. In that situation, I understand most people have the idea of going running back with their first two picks, lock up that cornerstone, plug it and play it, never have to worry about it, try to swing a quarterback late. But when Drew Brees falls that late, I think you're going to have a huge difficult time in your actual live draft to pass on Drew Brees for the likes of a Frank Gore or a Chris Johnson. In that situation, I feel like the upside of a Drew Brees could potentially trump having the positional fortitude of a quality number 2 running back, of a Chris Johnson, Stephen Ridley, even a potentially Steven Jackson should he fall that low. Or you're even better off with a wide receiver in that situation. A Brandon Marshall, Julio Jones also looks mighty tempting there. But I think if you pass on Drew Brees there, your team might be better off, but honestly, you're just rewarding players later on in the draft with a quality number 1 quarterback. I think Drew Brees has a very good chance at being the number 1 quarterback this year, and I think if you let someone draft Adrian Peterson number 1 overall and swing around with the 24th pick to pick up Drew Brees, you might as well just write the champion check over to him at that point. Gremlin, go.
As much as I disagree in philosophy of taking a quarterback before, the 6th or 7th round, Marshmallow has a great point here, because that is the scariest fact, that someone that took those top round running backs in the first 3-4 picks could come and get Drew Brees. It makes their team dangerous. I know from experience in mock drafts that I've done, if you take Drew Brees, if you're the 6th, 7th pick, you're going to be hurting later on for depth, but to keep the league balanced and to keep, your team, with a good, solid starting running back, you can't go wrong. I just don't know if it's my choice.
All right, so I'm going to pose this question to the both of you.
Hit me, Hitler.
Who do you like more on the season? LaShawn McCoy and Drew Brees, or Aaron Rodgers and Steven Jackson?
I got to go Aaron Rodgers and Steven Jackson there. Again, we'll probably get to running backs later, but I think the upside of Steven Jackson trumps any potential know what you're getting from when it comes to Frank Gore.
I didn't say Frank Gore, though. I said LaShawn McCoy.
Oh, Chicago McCoy's even worse.
Okay. So you would prefer Aaron Rodgers and Steven Jackson over LaShawn McCoy and Drew Brees, even after you just said that Drew Brees had the potential to be number one QB?
I think he does have the potential, but then you're betting on a lot of ifs and maybes versus tried and true know what we're getting out of an Aaron Rodgers and a Steven Jackson.
Okay, so what we're talking about here is that you like the consistency of Aaron Rodgers over the potential of Drew Brees and LaShawn McCoy, and apples to apples, you're almost saying that you like Steven Jackson more than McCoy this year. Thoughts?
They are closer than you would think, but yes, I find myself most people drafting McCoy higher than I would. I think McCoy is still a name based on what he did 2 years ago with his double-digit touchdowns he had. I think last year was a big come down from him, and I don't see any reason for that to change. Yes, we got a new offensive system. Yes, we got a new head coach. But honestly, I think we should get back on fucking topic and get back to quarterback talk and move on down the line to the likes of, say, Cam Newton / Peyton Manning. I've seen them be flip-flopped in numerous mock drafts. Fellas, Cam Newton or Peyton Manning? Go. Don't think about it. Just say it.
Cam.
Woo! We got players up in here. I'll take Peyton all day. Peyton Manning, we know what he's got. He's tried and true. I think still the injury concerns are way too high. I think he's on an amazing team now, specifically with Wes Welker. I think there's no chance that he doesn't end as a top 3 quarterback. That being said, Cam Newton, you're going to get your bonus points from your rushing yardage. You're going to get your bonus points from your rushing touchdowns. That's all very true. However, he is on a far less superior team. I feel like doesn't have as much of an upside he has an even bigger floor. I think Cam Newton is the type of guy who can get hurt. I think Cam Newton's the type of guy who can get even half hurt and quit on his team, as he's known to call out his teammates constantly. Cam Newton as a number 3 quarterback this year, I say fuck on that, and I get a big old poo-poo stank. Hitler, thoughts?
You want my thoughts? All right, let's hear it. Cam Newton, what is he, 6'4", 250 pounds?
Yeah, he's a big fella.
Yeah, he's a big fella playing running back in the NFL. He's always been a superior athlete. He's proven time and time again. His rookie season, he ran all over people. He ran through outside linebackers like it was pee-wee football, and he was on the varsity team. Who cares? Cam Newton is a superior athlete, and he's going to prove it again this year. The rushing touchdowns are going to be there. I don't like the backs in that system, and I think that Cam Newton's going to try and get his team involved even more in the rushing game, and he's got a cannon.
He does have a cannon, that is very true, and we'll talk about his wide receivers in another future podcast. However, I don't see Cam being a top 3 guy. I think you're taking a huge risk early in a draft, second, even third round, trying to take Cam Newton. I feel like you're getting no value there at any other position, and you should just wait. Moving on, we got a next tier of guys. Tom Brady. Tom motherfucking Brady. Ugg wearing, perfect 10 model fucking Tom Brady. He is constantly falling in these mock drafts. I feel like in a month he's going to fall so low that it'll be almost as low as my dick hangs. He's mixed in there with Kaepernick, Wilson, and Matt Ryan. Hitler. Are you taking either of those, any 4 of those quarterbacks, 4th, 5th, 6th round? Or are you still waiting?
I like the prospect.
Let me preface that real quick. Again, huge upsides from all these guys. Most of them are rushers. Tom Brady can just get things done. You could probably get some. There's a very good chance you get excellent value out of maybe one or two of them. Other two might get hurt, might have down years. You're not getting any value from the drafting 5th round. But is it worth the risk to draft either 4 of those quarterbacks in the 4th, 5th, 6th round this year?
I'm going to go ahead and say yes, it's worth it. But I have my eye on 2 of those guys.
Excellent. Interesting.
Yeah. So when I look at Tom Brady, I feel like I know what I'm getting. I know he doesn't have the weapons that he's had in the past, and I know that everyone's a little bit down on him because of that. But when you look at his past, when you look at certain seasons when Wes Welker tears his ACL, that was before Gronk, that was before Hernandez. He had some weapons on the outside that year. But truth be told, he made something out of nothing that season, and he was Tom Brady just as he always is. And if I'm looking that late, if I'm looking in the 5th round and some of the other top tier guys are gone, and I think I need a quarterback based on what's off the board, what you're getting out of Tom Brady, and that's what you want in those higher rounds. You want to make sure that you minimize risk. For me, in the earlier rounds, you want to minimize risk. If you feel like Tom Brady is going to be a consistent performer throughout the year, and that's what you want to draft, then do it. Those later rounds, maybe that's when you start to take the risk and go high risk, high reward. For me, rounds 5 or 6, I want to make sure I get at least some value out of my player. That's why I might lean towards Tom Brady in those rounds.
Now, hold on a second, Hitler.
Tom Brady, 12-team league. You can get him in the middle of the 3rd round with the 30th overall pick. Are you taking him?
Negative.
Still too high.
Still too high for me.
Early 4th round, 36th overall.
Well, I can tell you that I won't be taking him early in the 4th round. Still too high.
Where are you finally taking Tom Brady on your overall big board?
I'll take Tom Brady late 4th, early 5th.
You think he might fall that far to you? You just talked a lot of upside about him.
You really did.
And now you're sitting here talking like you're going to wait and kick him up in the 5th as if no one else is going to pull the trigger on the New England Patriots quarterback.
Someone else very well could.
Very well. Gremlin, why don't you come in and tell him what a fucking faggot he is for acting like this is a potential possibility?
Well, out of the 10 mock drafts I have done, and I've done 10 in about a week.
You hear that, fellas? 10. Ladies, he is available.
Tom Brady has not fallen below the 3rd round in any single draft. And the 4th round is beyond ridiculous. Isn't this coming from the same person who last year in one of his leagues, what round did you take a quarterback, Hitler?
That was round 16, and finished pretty well in that league. Actually.
You sure did. So I think that
you
completely invalidates this comment that you're even looking at Tom Brady. He's gonna go way too early to be worth where you're gonna want to take him.
Well, let's go back to the original question, which was.
Let's wrap it up.
Are we gonna wrap it up?
Keep going.
You were asking about rounds 5, 6, and 7.
I was rounding 4, 5, and 6.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then I answered your question pretty well. I think that's the guy I'm looking for later on over the other guy.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is this podcast screeching to a halt based on Hitler's inability to ascertain a simple question. Moving on. Hopefully that was a lot of help to you, fellas. We've got, again, Kaepernick, Wilson, RG3, solid 5th, 6th round guys. Seeing a lot of them fall all the way to the 6th round. People picking up. They're starting running backs, wide receivers, and flex. And then in the 6th round, decide, you know what, time to grab myself my starting quarterback and be happy about myself before I get too drunk. Kaepernick, Luck, Wilson, all those guys going in that round. Any guys particular stand out, or if you can just get one of them, so be it. Hitler.
I'm not big on Kaepernick. I think he's a douchebag.
Oh! You hear that, Mama Kaepernick? Talk shit about your boy over here.
What stats do you have to back that up, Joshua?
Any guy who poses naked, on ESPN and kisses his biceps on a daily basis, to me, that just screams douchebag.
So, a quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers that wears a Miami Dolphins hat to a party because it matches his shoes. Is this a viable fantasy starting number 1 quarterback?
Is there somewhere in between a hell no and a fuck no? Because I think it's right there.
You're here, folks. We got bold calls here. Gremlin, who do you like, Kaepernick or Matt Ryan?
It is no secret that in our league that I am probably one of the biggest Matt Ryan supporters you will find out there. I'm even torn when I see him go, which is usually 4th to 5th round, that maybe I should take Matt Ryan. I feel like I'm betraying him for not taking Matt Ryan in that round. Now, obviously, I like Matt Ryan a lot over Kaepernick. I think any of these option guys are going to be great. They're going to be, you just got to look out for them because they're going to get hurt. You need to be careful because all it takes is you to make a fuck up in the 5th or 6th round, and then, your guy's out with a torn ACL because he tried to run for the first down. Did you hear me out there? Good.
That's the Gremlin again, ruining this podcast with every nibble and bite in his very presence as a goddamn albatross to this league.
Let's think about what he just said, though, because his point is going to apply to a lot of quarterbacks this year.
Very good point.
Ryan / Gremlin.
Now everybody knows who he is!
Everyone knows the Gremlin's secret identity.
Really need to learn how to edit this shit.
We're talking about these quarterbacks that run, right? We're talking about them getting outside the pocket. We saw what happened to RG3 last year. We can see the upside with a lot of guys. In the past, we've seen it with Michael Vick. In the past, we've seen it with Cam Newton. But we start to get concerned with those injuries and what type of upside is actually worth that risk. I think it applies to more quarterbacks this year than it has in the past. You talk about Kaepernick, Russell Wilson, RG3, Cam Newton, Michael Vick a little further down the board. At what point to you, Marshmallow, does that risk outweigh the reward?
I think if I'm taking one of those guys, I'm the last one to take one of those guys. I would rather have any wide receiver / running back taken around earlier and then being forced to take RG3 than being the one that takes Colin Kaepernick and then whichever player I get in the next round. I feel like at this point, these mid-round guys like this, I feel like there's so much more upside at any other position outside of possibly tight end, and only a very small amount of tight ends could potentially be even better than these quarterbacks going in the situation. I feel like this is the rounds where you make or break your team. One of the other players in your league who draft one of these quarterbacks will not win the league. They are going to take them too high, and they're not going to have the depth at the other positions to make up for it. I would much better off falling down and either taking RG3 late, 7th, 8th round, depending on where you're drafting, early or late in the round. You might have to reach a little bit up for him to grab him before it's over with. Or simply waiting for Stafford, Luck, or Romo. My pick and my go-to guy in this round, and someone I am targeting in many mock drafts, is Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford, 2 years ago, was an amazing fantasy quarterback. Coupled with Calvin Johnson, the best wide receiver in the game. Do you realize Matthew Stafford, in 17 games last year, only had 20 touchdowns? That's not even 1.5 a game. There's no way that happens again this year.
Well, we all know about your love affair with Matthew Stafford, but the fact of the matter is, there's just not that much there when you talk about the past.
I'm
and the
saying
history. There's one.
There
really
is
good year.
history there. What you're hearing is still old talk about his injuries. He had multiple injuries to his shoulders and his elbow that cost him a couple years of his season. Since then, he's been started every single game and has been amazing. They had so many tackles inside the red zone that it resulted in no touchdown, that Stafford could easily had 10 more touchdowns. I'm saying Stafford, instead of getting 20, gets 30 touchdowns, an extra 500 yards total, now passing more dump-offs to Reggie Bush, that Stafford could easily not be super 100% elite, but I'm saying super late 8th, 9th round, you could get yourself a potential top 5 quarterback. Gremlin.
I agree with the Marshmallow. And this.
Thank you, Gremlin. Hitler.
I disagree.
Hold on a second, Hitler. Now hold on a second.
Now, Gremlin. We're all friends here.
Now I agree. I do not trust a word he says after taking. He waited till the 16th round to take a quarterback 1 season ago. Now, my point is that Matt Stafford isn't going to drop to the 8th round. He's too good. People like the Marshmallows in your league. They're going to grab him in the 6th, at the end of the 6th when they see fit. Maybe beginning of 7th if he makes it that far. But I haven't seen a lot of mock draft scenarios where Matt Stafford drops that low.
I disagree. I feel like Stafford or even Romo have so much upside that if you're the last to take a quarterback, you're doing all right. I think just based on the round you're getting him at, I feel like there's so much potential upside there that I don't think there's going to be that much of a difference between, say, a Tony Romo and a Cam Newton. Yes, Cam Newton will be that much better than Tony Romo, but not nearly close to the rounds, the difference when it comes to their drafting. Let me ask you this question now. Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Cam Newton, Matt Ryan, Colin Kaepernick, Russell Wilson, RG3, Stafford, Luck, and Romo. Those are your top 12 quarterbacks going in standard 12-team leagues. Gentlemen, if you draft any of these quarterbacks, does any single one of them scream out to you that feel like you should draft a backup quarterback? Or better yet, do you recommend drafting a backup quarterback? Hitler.
My thoughts on backup quarterbacks are all about the value of other players on the board. I often take a backup quarterback simply because I feel like they are the best player on the board late in the draft. If I can find someone like, let's say, Eli Manning, and it's late in the draft, and I don't have a backup quarterback, and I'm looking at the running backs and wide receivers, and I really don't like what's there, I might grab Eli Manning knowing that, I'm going to have to use him for a bye week for sure. I might have to use him if RG3 gets hurt again.
I can't disagree with you more.
I'm with the Marshmallow.
I feel like taking a backup quarterback, say you have Aaron Rodgers. I don't care what round you're getting Eli Manning in. What use does Eli Manning do? Is Aaron if you think I feel like Cutler can just be just as good as Eli Manning. By taking Eli Manning, you're only hurting yourself by not taking a Kenny Britt or a Mikel LaShore or a Bryce Brown or someone along those lines, some lottery ticket that could just be amazing for you and blow up and win you your league single-handedly because you have an ultra stud now potentially at those positions. What are the chances Eli Manning is such a stud that you're either trading him for something of value or starting him over Aaron Rodgers?
At this point, you're mixing my words. And that's okay. I'll continue for the sake of the argument.
You just said you will take the best player available.
No, and then you come up and you bring up guys like Mikel LaShore, Kenny Britt, guys that
you would be drafting, where you're taking Eli Manning instead.
No, my point was that if those kind of guys are not available late in rounds, that's when I go.
So cheerleaders and mascots are the only people available. You're going to take Eli Manning.
Yeah.
Okay, hear that, fellas? If the Dallas Cowboy mascot and the dolphin from Ace Ventura: Pet Detective are the ones most available on ESPN standard leagues, don't do it. Hitler says take Eli Manning and call him in the morning.
And I'll say it again.
Gremlin, what's your favorite color?
Well, it's
and moving on. Gentlemen, any other quarterbacks going undrafted that you think have potential big play potential where they can be a top 10 quarterback? These are the guys that, like Josh just said, if I am going to take a backup, these are the guys I have my eyes on. These are the guys I'm watching the waiver wire for when my bye week comes up. These are the guys who I think can potentially be amazing. Hitler.
I want you to keep an eye on
you're not Hitler.
You speak when spoken to, Gremlin. Hitler.
I like Carson Palmer this year. simply because
Carson Palmer going
Carson-
21st.
21st. Now
Completely undrafted.
He's very efficient in short yardage passes, and now he's got an outside deep threat in Larry Fitzgerald. I like that pair. I like what he can do in short yardage passes with the efficiency there. He completes a lot of passes under 10 to 15 yards. May throw a few interceptions, but bottom line is that if he's efficient and he throws some deep passes from time to time to Fitzgerald, he could end up maybe at the back end of the top 10.
Gremlin.
As usual, I need to disagree with Hitler here. As Hitler does not watch a lot of Arizona Cardinals football, he should know that offensive line is probably the worst in the National Football League. Carson Palmer is going to get sacked so much this season that it doesn't matter who you put into that system. Until they fix that line, he is going to be an ineffective quarterback, even with someone like Larry Fitzgerald.
Are you saying that the Oakland offensive line is so much better than the Arizona offensive line that it's going to make a huge difference for him? What I just said about the short yardage passes, Carson Palmer gets the ball out quick. He always has. He always throws those dump-off passes when he needs to. He can read the blitzes very well. He's going to dump it off in time. I feel like he's going to be an efficient quarterback. Maybe not in the top 10. There's a few other guys I like with the potential to finish in the top 10, but he's one that is going to be way late in drafts, way available on the waiver wire late into the season, who could end up being a secret home run.
Hitler, I want to punch you in the face so fucking hard right now. It is ridiculous. There is absolutely no reason anyone listening to this should be drafting Carson Palmer in a 16-man roster, 12-team league. There is absolutely no chance Carson Palmer is a top 10 quarterback.
No chance.
There's no reason, if you are the person starting Carson Palmer every single week in and week out, because he's got a chance to be a top 10 quarterback. I'm Hitler, hear me. I'm so awesome, I hate the Jews. If you are the one doing that, then every other person in your league loves you. They are waiting to play for you and dying for it, because your big play opportunity is nil. Sure, he could be average. He might even light up Larry Fitzgerald. But there's no way he's going for 4 touchdowns and 350 yards even once this season. And I see a lot of guys up there that have a bigger potential week in, week out, do better than that.
All right, let's talk about one guy who also catches my eye, a little higher on the list, Andy Dalton.
Hitler loves the ginger.
I love the ginger. I love A.J. Green. There was an injury concern that just came out this past weekend. He is a little hurt right now. Hopefully he'll come back. But he's got a weapon on the outside that I love. He played well last year. May not finish in the top 10, but could easily finish in the top 15. Thoughts?
Again, I just feel like there's just no big play potential there. Yes, he could be in the top 15, but no better than that. I'm looking at guys who I think could potentially put together a solid season because either their offensive line has gotten better, they've gotten better wide receivers, they've gotten a better running back to take the load off them. I'm talking guys who are going to potentially step up and be big play guys. Now, these are guys that could also potentially totally suck. We're looking for home run guys or strikeout guys at this situation. I think the guys you're picking out are going to have solid averages, but without any actual potential upside. If I'm taking a backup quarterback, it's not going to be an Andy Dalton. I got my eyes on guys who could potentially light it up. Now, these guys could easily suck, but there's a very good chance one of these guys is a top 10. And those answers are Joe Flacco,
Ugh.
Jay Cutler,
Ugh.
and Josh Freeman.
Ugh. Okay. Well, you know what? I'll take that back about Josh Freeman. I like his ability as an athlete. I don't like him as a quarterback.
Now, that's just a Hitler and you speaking out loud.
Yeah,
Gremlin,
definitely.
any ideas?
I agree with the Josh Freeman pick. Vincent Jackson is a great receiver. Doug Martin opens up that offense a lot and gives them a lot of opportunity to be dangerous this season. I think he's a great deep round sleeper for backup quarterback.
Excellent work, gentlemen.
Now, let me bring up one that you missed that I feel like a lot of people are going to go back to and agree with you in your points of, I want a home run late. I want the chance for a home run late. Michael Vick's not on your list at all?
No, only due to injuries. I don't even know if he's going to get the starting job. What is the best potential Michael Vick can do? He way past his prime. I don't see it. I'm not taking. If I'm going to take a home run hitter, the answer is still not Mike Vick. Gremlin?
I'm with you there, Marshmallow. I've watched Eagles football for a while, and Michael Vick there's too many question marks this late in his career.
Good job taking 15 seconds. Say something that should have only taken 5. Gentlemen, this has been a nice inaugural podcast. Listeners, sorry we went a little long on this one. We'll try to keep it a little bit shorter next time. Hitler, hate the blacks, hates the Jews, all around racist. Gremlin, the ugliest,
5 seconds to say something.
ugliest motherfucker you ever met. And I'm the Marshmallow, fat and puffy, jolly as can be. That was the Fantasy Podcast.